Hi everyone, Jackie with the Razorback. I get asked often, especially when I'm doing walk-up sharpening for the public. I get asked often, how difficult is it to learn how to sharpen on a stone? And so I thought I'd do a little video here today and explain just some basics. And we'll just take a regular little utility style kitchen knife here and go back and two on this block of steel and maybe rub it back and two on the stone. So you don't think I'm trying to cheat you here. And uh, this knife not dull because you can see it. It's just don't want to participate at all. Piece of paper. So one of the easiest ways that I find to, if the knife already has correct geometry, and it looks like this one does, these typically come around 17 degrees from the factory. This is a Hinkle. Uh, but one of the easiest ways I've found is just lay your knife flat on the stone and roll it up until this edge makes contact with the stone. And then when you get that done, this wrist right here, it gets locked. None of this, zero of that. And another thing that can be helpful too is when you find that angle, you can use your thumb on the spine, and then when you switch sides, you would use your index finger on the spine. Consistency with your angle is the most critical part of learning how to sharpen on a stone. And then so we can, like I said, it appears to me that this knife has a pretty correct geometry on it. And one way to test yourself to make sure that you're sharpening properly is to just simply take a Sharpie and mark this bevel here. So then when you get started, you'll know if you're removing in the area that you want to remove material from. And so again, there's many ways to do this. I myself, I guess the easiest way maybe when you're first starting out is find your angle, lock this wrist. This wrist does not get to move. Start on your stone, thusly. None of this. This is always what gets guys in trouble. And this is the most common mistake I see. What that'll do, it'll begin to flare your angle right in this area. And when you first start, it might be easier to just rotate your shoulders rather than try to work your arms. And if you're not getting the area in the tip right here, and I did that on purpose just to demonstrate, you don't want to roll your wrist like this. What you do is lift your elbow in this fashion. Let's do this a few times and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. There, see how nice that's getting all the way around there, right into the tip like you want it. And then again, so we're going to go to the other side because I feel a burr here already. And if you need to support this knife on the spine with your index finger, that's fine. These fingers don't want to be up here because you're working against this finger. If anything, they want to be down here close to the edge. Pinky up and thumb up, because if you slip and his thumb's down here, it's going to cause a wreck, and you don't want to do that. So pinky up, thumb up. These fingers, I like to run this finger right out here on the tip, so I'll make sure I'm getting that tip. And again, I'm lifting my elbow and shoulder, not doing this. You do not want to do this. That's the most common mistake I see with guys sharpening with a stone. And you can go at a good rate here and really get some work done. This is a diamond stone, a two-sided diamond stone. This is Sharpal, I think that's how you say that. And I'm not affiliated with these guys in any form or fashion. I do think for a budget stone, this is probably one of the most, dollar for dollar, this is probably one of the better. And I think it's a 325, 1200, 325 and 1200, I think is what it is. So if you need to reconfigure or really move some metal, you'll start out on this 325 side. Until you feel a little burr here. Then go to your other side. And again, none of this That's always going to get you in trouble. This wrist is locked. It don't get to do this, and it don't get to do this. This wrist is locked. Concentrate on keeping that in that same position. Find your angle. When it touches, you're there. Lock your wrist. Just follow through all the way to the tip. And again, I'm lifting my wrist and shoulder, not rolling through that tip. That's always going to get you in trouble. Then I'll just take a few. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm lightening up on my pressure. I'm removing that burr at this 325 grit. And then we'll flip this stone over to the 1200 grit side. And I want to wipe this knife off because I don't want any of those larger grit particles from the 325 side. See there how much stuff was on there? I do not want that getting on my 1200 side of the stone and contaminating. That's what we call grit contamination. You don't want that. So what we're going to do now is just start refining a scratch pattern from the 325 side. And it really don't take that long to get this done. I mean, this knife's really starting to come around here already. But once again, if you want to check yourself to make sure that you're sharpening correctly, just mark your bevel. I'm not doing a very good job of that for some reason. Just mark your bevel all the way down. Get on your stone for a little bit. Find your angle again. If you need to, support it with your spine and with your thumb. Make a few passes. Look at it. Make sure you're getting that hole all the way to the tip. See, there's no pink marker left on that. We'll go do the other side if you need to. Use your finger. And I'm not trying to sharpen my finger. I'm just using that as a reference here to keep this knife, keep your bevel consistent. That's probably the biggest mistake I see is people cannot keep a consistent bevel. And the reason they can't is because they're doing this. They're rolling through this with their wrist, and that's not what you want to do. Now, just a few opposing strokes on each side. I'm going to remove that burr, lightening up on pressure as I go. And right now, I'm just barely, almost just the weight of the knife. Just removing some of that burr that we rolled up on that edge. And boy, that's starting to feel pretty darn good. And I'll take just a few strokes on the strop here. This is a green compound, chromium oxide's what it is. And not very heavy here, pretty much just the weight of the knife. A few times back into, matching the same bevel. And if you need to, again, support the spine with your finger to make sure you're staying. Because what happens here, guys, is this strap is kind of soft, and if you push down, the leather will wrap around and wrap completely around your edge and start messing up the work that you just did. So light pressure, match the same bevel, the same angle that you sharpened at. A few strokes. Again, not pushing down hardly at all. Lightening up as you go. And right here, I'm just using just the weight of the blade. Just a few times. And if we got lucky, just like that, you got yourself a sharp knife. So anyway, this knife will probably, I don't have any hair on my arm left, but you can see, if I can find some hair. There you go, guys. Just taking hair right off. And that's how simple it is to sharpen on a stone. Just learn a few basic correct techniques. And that's literally just how simple it is. Hope this was helpful. Thanks.